You're sitting at the kitchen table, doing that thing couples do, where you stare at your bank account and try to figure out where all the money went. Between the two of you, you're pulling in $130,000 a year, yet you are stressed about whether you can afford new tires this month. That income is more than your parents made combined. You got the degrees, you got the careers, and the house in a decent school district. You followed the script for financial success, but you have maybe 2 months of expenses saved up. When the car needed an unexpected repair last week, it went straight onto a credit card. The math behind this feeling is going to make you angry. Today, we are running the actual numbers to see exactly why bringing home 2 paychecks leaves modern families broker and more vulnerable than the single-income families of the past. Back in 2003, a Harvard bankruptcy law professor named Elizabeth Warren published research after analyzing over 2,000 families who had gone broke. She wanted to track exactly where their money disappeared. These families were not filing for bankruptcy because they were irresponsible. Adjusted for inflation, the average family she studied was spending 33% less on clothing and 23% less on food than families in the 1970s. They were actually more frugal than their parents' generation. Warren discovered a structural flaw in the modern economy. Having 2 working parents did not increase financial security. Statistically, families with 2 working parents were more likely to file for bankruptcy than single-income families. Working twice as hard and bringing home 2 paychecks does not build a safety net. It creates a hidden financial trap that actively increases a family's exposure to total ruin. Let's look at a hypothetical modern couple, the Parkers. Sarah works in marketing, making $68,000, and Mike works in IT, pulling in $75,000. Their combined household income is $143,000. But structural economic forces absorb that wealth before they make a single discretionary choice. This chart compares the national home price to income ratio, the median cost of a house divided by median household earnings. In 1970, a family could buy a house for about 2.6 years of their household income. By 2025, that ratio hits 7.0. Your buying power got decimated, and you were using 2 incomes to try and cover the gap. Because every family started showing up to open houses with 2 incomes became the new minimum bid. Homes in the highest-rated school districts now command massive price premiums over surrounding areas. You are essentially paying a multi-$100,000 ransom just for the privilege of a decent public education. Then there is healthcare. An employer-sponsored family plan now costs nearly $27,000 a year in total premiums. Even with Mike's company covering most of it, they pay $570 a month out of pocket, plus a $3,000 deductible. That is $850 a month draining their combined income before they treat a single illness. Before the Parkers buy groceries or save a dime, the inflated baselines of modern housing and medical care have already swallowed the mathematical advantage of having 2 salaries. Let's run a forensic audit to see where the money physically goes when a second earner's salary enters the modern system. This graphic uses Sarah's $68,000 gross income as our starting balance. Because her income stacks on top of Mike's, she doesn't start at a 0 tax rate. Federal income tax, state tax, and FICA, the mandatory payroll tax for Social Security and Medicare, instantly take a $17,182 bite. Next comes the unavoidable cost of 2 parents working. Center-based infant and toddler care for their 2 kids costs $14,400 per child. That wipes out another $28,800 annually. Then we factor in the daily commute. Between gas, maintenance, and vehicle depreciation over 9,000 miles a year, the second commute costs roughly $6,480. Finally, we hit the exhaustion tax. This is the premium paid for convenience services necessitated by working 2 full-time jobs. Ordering takeout 3 nights a week, hiring a cleaning service, and buying pre-prepped food costs them $16,340 a year. After taxes, childcare, commuting, and exhaustion spending, Sarah's $68,000 full-time salary nets exactly -$82. She is working a demanding professional job, missing her kids' childhoods, and the household is literally paying for the privilege. If Mike or Sarah gets laid off or falls ill, the entire household structure collapses. Both incomes are already fully committed to keeping the lights on, leaving no margin for error. In the 1970s, a stay-at-home parent acted as an unactivated financial reserve. If the primary earner lost their job, the other parent could enter the workforce to bring in new cash flow. The modern dual-income family has already activated their reserve just to cover basic survival. The system is functioning exactly as designed. Decades of essential costs rising faster than wages have turned a two-income household from a luxury into a mandatory structural condition for middle-class life. If you feel broke on $140,000 a year, it is not a result of personal failure or poor budgeting. You are operating inside an economy that mathematically absorbs your second income before you ever see it. The way out requires deliberately downsizing to survive on a single income. Take the Chens. They make the exact same combined $143,000, but they chose a smaller house in a less prestigious school district and drive older cars. They structured their essential life around one paycheck. Looking at this flowchart, you can see how they manage their cash. The primary salary goes straight into the fixed cost bucket. The second salary is treated as a ghost income. It bypasses essential expenses completely and flows directly into a growing bucket for investments, retirement accounts, and emergency savings. By effectively living on one paycheck, they achieve a 50% savings rate. With normal market returns, this timeline graphic shows how that massive savings rate compresses the 40-year path to financial independence down to 12 to 15 years. Refusing to lock both incomes into fixed costs secures the ultimate modern luxury: options, resilience, and true freedom from the trap.